time, so I know I'm late now. Because there's one thing about me, I'm married to a very beautiful woman for 29 years, and she's of Asian culture, and if you know anybody that lived from an Asian culture, you usually have to tell them 30 minutes ahead of time when you really want to be, when you know, the appointment's at 7, you tell them 6:30. Because you'll get there at 7. So after being 29 years of that, I'm pretty good at it. I've now become late. I figure that that'll work out when I get when the time comes that I die, because I'll be late. So I'm sorry if I kept you waiting. And first off, this is like, wasn't I here last week? I thought we needed more chapel. You know, so I'm going to keep this short though, because you did ask for some. Rajiv, if you're here, good. So you're going to get the Gospel of Ed-Fi, and hopefully they'll be able to answer your questions. And if they can't answer all your questions, we will take those questions and come back to you with those answers, because this is critical. I don't care what SIS system you have, what vendor you have, it's a mandatory requirement for state reporting that they do this. You can't state report without these connections. So this understanding, now I know we're going to work through the July 1st deadline, because whenever you do something new, you put a deadline, you got to put a date there, and then you work through it. But the real important part is July, I think I told you this, July 1st, 2015, you all are getting paid out of this system. SACE is gone. The new state financial system's called Breeze. Ooh. I wonder how that's going to work. It's an ERP, so I'm hoping it works well. But together we'll learn through it. I'm sure I'll hear about it as we go along. The thing about being close is you just call me and we work through it. No major implementation is easy. So I've talked to you enough about the A-list solution. I don't think you need me to talk too much about it. My objective, of course, is to leave you with a feeling that we have a good rollout approach. So this week and next week, my teams are very busy building out product pricing. You're talking government's not done this. Usually we don't have to price a product, right? But we do for this, because we have a lot of products in A-list, we have to price it. What is the price of an SIS? We do level 1 and level 2 support. I can't, and the first thing you're going to ask me is, what can I tell you about the SIS? Nothing. Because it's much more complex. I'll tell you this. This is a lot more complex than I thought it would be. There's potentially, you know, Arizona is trying to make a change in the state. But all the vendors in every other state watching this one. So it's going to be a tough negotiation. Because if, at the end of the day, if the state doesn't add any value, why would we do it? Our objective is only to add value to you. And if it doesn't add value, the current process, how many people here use Mojave? Most of you? Mojave contracts. So my objective, though, is to get you value. A cost that, and a system that doesn't change all the time, a system that has state reporting and so forth. That's taken a lot of negotiation. Because nobody's ever done it like this before. And everybody's trying to do it the way they've done it in 20 years. And we're not approaching it like we've done it in 20 years. So it is taking longer. I do know that Lori tells me that she has 25 people signed up. That's more than I could do in the first year anyway. So they're raring to go. So that's what I have today. And another thing that's coming out the end of July is I got slides for this. You're driving, thank you. This is how many outreaches we've done. 472 of you are aware of ALIS. That's a huge difference from a year ago. When I came in here and talked about ALIS, nobody knew what it was. Some acronym, what is that? 472 LEAs. I'm pretty impressed with this team. Laura, you in here?
Not yet.
Not yet. Sarah?
Here.
There she is. So the team that does that is Lori and Sarah and her team. They really care about you. I've never seen such a great team that really doesn't want to see it messed up. Yes, ma'am?
Where's Sarah? She helped me one time.
Here.
There she is. Nancy.
See?
Invite her.
That's awesome. It's not this government bureaucracy. If I ever get like that, you need to fire me. 208, well, I do have somebody that makes me bureaucratic. I'm talking about the policies above us. You should have seen the one that handed to me yesterday. 288 LEAs have either attended or scheduled an outreach kickoff. That's huge. That's almost half. 135 LEAs have deployed AE Connect. That's huge. 112 LEAs have gone through or scheduled AZ- training. We've had 4 town hall meetings and scheduled to hold 2 more. We're in every part of this state. They're holding a town hall meeting in Chinle. Those people are saying, wow, we've never had anybody come over here. But shouldn't we go to the people who need it? That's what we're doing. Next slide. This official transcript pilots teach us a lot. This is hard. This is something harder than I thought it would be, is getting a digital transcript from high school. Well, we have a problem in our own school. Do we have a graduation day in SACE? Some of you do in your systems. I hope you do. A real graduation day. We have what's estimated graduation day in SACE. That makes it really impossible to determine if they really are going to graduate. The only time you know if they graduate is if they don't show up next year. If they show up next year, they probably didn't graduate. Or they don't show up. So, I mean, that's sad, but we're fixing that. That's a fix that's going to be in the new SACE. But what's critical for a transcript is you got to know when they graduate. And you got to have a complete course. Now, SCT, which you all love and dearly think about every night when you sleep, SCT is, I could go back there and fix that, or break it and make it worse, by adding the fields that are necessary from your SIS so that I can complete this. I'm not, just so you know. I don't break bad things when EdFi is within months away, because EdFi will fix this. EdFi will take all the data necessary out of the SIS, and we could build a transcript. Of course, when you're talking about building a transcript, how many years of data does the university need? 4. Sometimes 3, but 4. So, do I have 4 years of data in the Arizona Department of Education? Well, I got 10 years of data, but I don't have 10 years of courses and grades. In order to get to the point where I have courses and grades, I need 4 years to build this. So that means this is a time thing. Now, what we've been successful to do, which is you got to be proud of what you've done, is that our ability to move a box. I'm going to keep it simple so it's not techie, since I'm a box mover. From San Diego to New York, and it got there successfully. Handshake, safe, secure, and everything. So we know how to move the data between us. That's the most complex part. Just the box has got 3, so it's supposed to have 10 things in it, it's got 6 of them. So that's a challenge. It needs to have all 10, but I don't have all 10 without EdFi. And I'm not going to go break SCT to make you guys love me even more. Next slide. The pilot is, the benefit of this pilot was to learn how a university can interact. How do we request a transcript? So a parent would show up at a university or on a website, request a transcript, we route the transcript request. And if it's a parent or a student and they're legal to have the transcript, we would then route the transcript back. That's the box. We can do that box successfully. It's only got 6 out of the 10 things that they need. But there is a benefit to the universities. They've never seen this data anyway. So they can start to see the data of what, and they're really interested in this. Because it's something, it's an ability for them to be able to start planning whether how much more facilities they needed, how much dorms, how much, all the whole planning cycle that they've never been able to see before was a guess. So there's a benefit. But this will continue into next year. Next slide. And I was a pilot, but the problem about education, when I do pilots in my old world, pilots were made out of balsa wood. You know, have you ever gone into an airport and seen a little model that said, this is what it's going to look like? In education, people are living in it. They forget about the, well, you got to go really build it. Oh, that's it. Good enough. Let's move them in. That's all my pilots seem to turn into production faster than I can. Pilots are meant to be a learning experience, so you don't, that's what they're supposed to be. But I find that everybody, well, looks good enough, let's go on. AZ-Dash, accelerating student, you've seen this, I hope. How many people have got AZ-Dash running in this building? The hands up way high, I gotta see them. Yeah, there's quite a few of you. Version 2 is coming, 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from Monday, last night. Maybe 21st, maybe I don't, yeah, my brain's fried. I would have stayed up late last night trying to do a perform on all these products that we have to do in order to come up with a budget. Go ahead and get the slide so we'll bring it up big and shiny. College readiness percent meeting benchmark by subject. This is the new look and color. How many people use it? The ones that are probably raising their hands are using the old look. Don't get caught up with colors, that's going to change too. How? Because we got to get back into an Arizona education palette. There's 2 ways this can approach. This is a skin. It could be a skin for your district, so your district colors could be on the skin, or AE's skin. So that way it looks and feels like your district or LEA. I'm sure you have colors. We can do that. But the whole benefit of these reports is that there's driven, the first version was not as intuitive. We had your people like yourselves, teachers, administrators, principals, telling us how they wanted to look at the data, how they wanted to pull down. And that's how this version got built. But it's at your fingertips now. We've delivered the Arizona report cards. I showed this to you last week, I think, I hope. That you could find out where your grades are. You can determine where your kids go to school. So can everybody else. But we've also delivered the post-secondary report card to 360 high schools, something like that, which is every high school in the state. And they can now see how their students did when they went to the universities or post-secondary. They can see how successful they were. They used to do that last year with a big huge box of paper that nobody read. It came in a big PDF box. We figured we'd help them out and put it on a dashboard. This post-secondary report card breaks down to telling you, you know, what's going on. You as an educator can now fix some things. Next slide. Well, I didn't promise, because I've been here too much. And the real reason you wanted me was to come tell you that I have an SIS contract and this is who they are. I really wish I had that answer. But the vendors and us have a lot of talking to do. And because I am not going to leave the table until I get the best price for the state. I'm not in the business of building an annuity plan for myself. So it's the best price for you. And in the meantime, we're building implementation plans on how to do this. If you opted in, how would we pay for it? Whether we pay for the implementation and integration as a state, so that we pay that PP. Those are the kind of discussions we're having right now. Because as you know, during an SIS, there's 2 fees basically. There's the fee that you pay annually, and the first year fee normally is that big fee because they give you an integration fee. Where the state's looking at taking that fee, just paying the integration. Because to us that's important get you on the system. The benefits to you, I hope you're talking to people, are what? State reporting. How hard is that for you? Federal reporting. No more being bothered by the districts. Handling all the balance and making sure the codes is right at our level. We'll make sure the code stays stable across the state. You guys will be involved, of course, if you want changes or customizations. There'll be a customization price. But it'll be a hosted solution. It's not in your, you don't have to worry about servers anymore. You just got to worry that it works. So all you have to do is log in. So that's about what I can talk about, and the real interest is Ed5 because that's what I'll take questions.
Currently, we have full back-end access to our database,
You still would have same back, it's your database.
so we can read right to it.
The only difference is where it's at. And there might be 3,000 districts on that database, but you only see yours. You can't see anybody else. And the permissions would be based on the super administrator. And we're hopeful that they have transaction processing in there, that if you were to go in there and manually change things, they won't change it. Because that's the security kind of things that's critical. Yeah, it's your system. I can't look at it. I do extracts, even on the state one, I'll do extracts just as I would do on one that's not. I had this conversation, because everybody's worried about what's the state going to see. I only see what the law says I can see, and I put a wall around everything else. Something that I didn't know if I talked about, did I talk about ATI Galileo?
No.
We're working with ATI to build an on-ramp for them. You've seen our dashboards? We've had a lot of districts saying that we want, find me the one that's a test aims, it's the next one. Yeah, something like that. So they want your Galileo, formative and benchmark, on a chart, like something like this. Galileo and I are talking. The only way, Jack's very willing, who's the owner, he said he would need the district, because this is a relationship between you and ATI, not me and ATI. I'm only there as a service. He'd need you, the district, to say, yes, send the data. As soon as I receive it, it would be on the dashboard. And that gives you formative and benchmark data real time. I've been working real hard at that. I'm still waiting for some mock-up dashboards so that we can get our focus group to approve them. But I'm hopeful that'll be next year, that you'll have that. Because really, AIMS data is good for the first part of the school year. What you want is all the formative and benchmark. And if there's other companies in the state that do this for us, I'll reach out to them and do the same kind of thing. How can I help them land the data? Because the customer, you, don't want to look at multiple different types of screens. You'd like to learn one and use one. So that's our goal. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
What bills, if any, are currently in the legislature relating to the funding of the state website?
There is one sitting right now in the House that is ALIS, and it's signed. The Senate's fighting. So who knows where it's going to end up. But I believe we're going to end up with a $12 million bogey for this year. And out of that, it will be a big chunk of SIS and the SACE replacement, finished SACE. The key part of me is, so the Ed5 is really the student side, and they'll explain that. The school finance is the payment, and creating an invoice for you and paying it. So that will be done this year, if they fund us. And of course, dashboard rollouts. So that's a good question. What am I going to do, 12 million? I just described it. I want to have 100% dashboard rollouts to all of you. Unless you tell me go away. I've had districts that said, I don't care. Send me an email. So when the governor asked me, did you? They said, no, I'm good. I can go on. I got plenty of people standing in line. When I'm done, I'll just say this is done. But I got to finish the dashboards, keep involving them, SACE completion, Ed5, student, and then I clean up some of my house, research and evaluation, ESS, and highly qualified teacher. Those databases are really need to be cleaned. So we are building towards a future better place. Does that help you?
Yeah, I had wondered if there was anything in the legislature now that currently would allow the state to request any funds from the districts for this.
Well, that's a discussion. So how do we pay for it, right? The state would pay for the integration, but how do you pay the ongoing license cost? So we've got an IGA shell written up, and the IGA, the best way to do this is for the district to sign on the IGA and agree that we just take it right off the top of student aid, and on every invoice you get, you'll see a debit on your payment for that amount that you sign on the IGA. That means you don't have to do paperwork. We don't have to do paperwork, it's just right off the top of the school, because that's where you pay for it out of anyway, is out of the base aid.
Right.
So that's our objective. We got to go through law and make sure that's legal, and we're doing it right now. So that would make it a lot easier than me sending you an invoice. You'd figuring out that you have to pay it, me bugging you that you didn't pay it because you forgot, and then the state going bankrupt because we couldn't pay the vendor. That's the worry. But I think the state is very interested in us paying for the integration, at least to help on that part. That's between $7 and $12 per student is what that costs you guys today for the first year, plus the license fee of whatever it is. So the first year is a very expensive thing, so I want the state to help. I think my boss is supportive of that. I think the legislature is supportive of that. I know I have enough money to do 23 this year. It's just whether I get funded each year. So it's about a 5-year program. I think we can knock out the state in 5 years. Or knock out who wants to be, and the rest we just go on. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. I'll take the back and I'll come right back to you.
Will you be adding PARC to the dashboard with the new testing?
Absolutely. In fact, we've been very close with the PARC consortium. And since you brought up PARC, how many people have been having frustrations with Pearson? Okay. They had a hard time. They had a great team that built this plan, then all of a sudden they implemented it and they had to hire people. There's 900 pages of documentation. The only person I know that read 900 pages of documentation, because I surely wouldn't have read it, works for me. I can't believe it. David, he's on the phone with you guys, and David is, he read every 1,000 pages. And so he's helpful. So if you ever need help, Pearson didn't answer your question, come to David. We are aware at the agency that this is not working as far as the help you needed as fast as you needed. So now let's talk about PARC data. This year's PARC, nobody sees it. That's private. Next year's PARC, or whatever it will be, because we have to get an RFP on the street and then get it out there, will be similar as this. And the report card's got to be done too, with the new standard test. So that's all the things we're talking about, because what's the report card going to be like next year? The one we're going to get in July will be the same report card you got the last 2 years, based on the same rules. One from a year from July, we need to keep talking, because I'm not sure what that rule is. But PARC is definitely part of our, and it's because it is external data warehouse, it'll be easier for me to pull the data in, because they did follow said standards in their build of it. So I should be able to really speed up the time from when the student takes a test and they have pouring it on the website, I should be able to pull it in. However, as all assessment coordinators know, they want to chime out to check to see if that assessment was right. I don't know how long that's going to take. So this hopefully will remove that, because they were electronically signed in. But I don't know. This is going to be fun. I probably would say that next year is not going to be fun. When I say fun, I mean you people in any type of technology role, and you're going to be doing PARC, you're going to be doing all the stuff that I'm throwing at you. I really admire all what you do every day, because it's going to get busy. And you guys got to talk to me when I'm pushing too fast, because I don't want to push too fast to break, right? That's not my purpose. I can always go tell the governor and the legislature that We're just going as fast as the districts can. We don't want to break anything. And next, yes,
Actually, I have 2 questions. You talked earlier about the transcript pilot with UMA and Vale. And I know that there are several other systems out there, National Clearinghouse, Speedy, and those kind of things. Is this integrated in that? Is it separate? Or are schools going to be able to transmit transcripts through our system here, through the ADE system, to the military or to the scholarship organization? How's that going to, what's going to change in how we do business now?
well, I think it's pilot, but let's take a vision. The vision is that the district, once the child is graduated, the transcript would be housed in ADE. If they're graduated, if they're still enrolled in Vail, they can't be graduated. Once they're graduated, the transcript's there. So it could go to any of the entities that request it. It's a standard PESC transcript, which is a post-education standard. So it is built as a PESC transcript with all the data. That's where we missed some of the data because I didn't have it all. There was some data analysis. Your second question?
Do you think that some of the features will be eliminate some of the reporting that we have to do now for federal? Like see the census report, some of that state reporting, the meal programs. A lot of that information we don't provide now to ADE. Most of it's in our databases. How do you see that changing?
Our goal is to work with you and eliminate your need. We get it when it's needed. Since we'll have the Ed5 connectors in there. Now, first part, we'll have all of student, which took up 26 of the federal reporting. So we got that piece. But there's 204 extra data collections that I do now. Our objective, and this legislature's objective, is to remove all 206 down to a number, because not all of these polls are done at a specific, they're not all the time. There's certain dates and times that some of these polls are done. So what we will do is work, when we design this, is work with you districts, when I say you districts, to say, okay, on October 10th, this is a poll for this report. It's going to take discipline on your side to be ready for that. We will be providing you screens and dashboards of all the data that we have, so you can see how good it looks, so that you can validate, right? My objective is to make it so that you know it's right, or near right. And right now, we didn't have those kind of reporting tools. So every day that you will have a dashboard for you to show you what breakdown of all your students. You know, with our ELL, full ADM, all so forth and so on. So you can see, whoops, I missed something here. My account's not right, especially the business office. Because the other thing that's going away is SACE Online. There ain't no SACE Online. You got to fix your system because you're the system of record. I am not. So whatever date, 40th, 100th day falls, that's the date I do. There will be no more, I'll stroll in around the 149th day or 50th day.
So some of the data we don't currently provide to ADE, we will start providing differently than we do now.
Well, we'll negotiate that as we see how it goes. It's a partnership.
Got it. Thank you.
I do not, things that you have to do to be effective at your job, I don't want to break. And that's the important part. So we've gone pretty slow, as you've seen so far. I haven't broken anything too big. Next year, maybe during a couple bigger ones. But I will keep, so you know, when I turn on SACE New, and there'll be a contest, Lisa promised me, that we're going to have a SACE renaming contest. And a logo, and, because I can't call this SACE. It just would hurt my heart. So what I'd like to, solicit your feedback for what a new name of this be, but we will run the new name and the old one for about 6 months, so you can see the differences. You can look at both. The one that's real is the new, because those are the business rules that were signed off by everybody in the business community. That's what we're going to do. The rules that were signed off in the old SACE, God knows who signed them off. So, July 1st.
Was it dual?
Dual.
Starting on July 1st.
The payment will come out of July 1st system, though. So you'd be paid in arrears, right, for the past year because you're in public. Charter school, they pay real time. Now, something I wouldn't say that's going to happen real fast, but you never know what our legislature will do. It's one of my questions I hear every day. Can I make it real time for everybody? Yeah, because now I have a rules engine. I can change things on the fly.